Mark Tatum, Deputy Commissioner and COO of the National Basketball Association.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you all.
Dr. Richard Lapchick, thanks for being with us here on R&R on Sports.
Thank you for having me.
Civil rights icon, Dr. Edwards, how are you today?
I'm doing a heck of a lot better than I deserve, I'll tell you that.
Sports commentator, Scoop Jackson.
Good to be back on with you all.
Ian Griffey Jr., how are you today, sir?
I'm good. How about you guys?
It's R&R on Sports.
R&R on Sports. R&R on
Hello and welcome to R&R on Sports. I would be Howard Robertson.
And I am the outstanding one. The one that is most intelligent. The individual with that je ne sais quoi that is so special that makes the world revolve around me. I am Larry Robinson.
Knows the trouble I'm having.
Hey, man. Listen,
Nobody
you are interrupting.
knows
You are interrupting my introduction.
but Jesus.
What's up, H?
What do you know, man? Why you got to go through all of that?
Man, I'm getting the audience pumped, man. It's sort of like a Michael Buffer. Are you ready to? You know that
Rumble.
type of thing.
Yeah,
That type of thing.
yeah,
I'm trying to get the crowd hyped.
Okay.
Since I don't have a good hype man,
all right.
I don't have a good hype man.
All right, well,
So producer,
why don't you get your hype man?
producer, can I get a good
your
hype
hype
man? MC Hammer had a good hype man,
Take him,
and I ain't got one. So
take him down to the Salvation Army and get him a hype man. Somebody to say what he wants to say.
When you gonna fully play your role and your part in this relationship? See, that's what I'm saying, man.
That's hype man?
That's why
man?
many relationships, marriages, partnerships fall apart.
Yes.
Because one person in particular, and in you in this particular, don't know their role.
As
and I need
Howard
you to learn.
Senior
And I need you to know how to. You need to be like a great role player. You need to play your role, just like on a good basketball team. You got role players.
Mm-hmm.
Your role
on a basketball
is suffering.
Team. Yeah,
your role is suffering.
Okay.
So that means that the
fire
team is
me. I don't want to work here no more.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on.
What?
Talk about somebody coming all the way back. I told you Tiger was coming back, man.
Tiger's not back.
I told you Tiger's coming. Listen.
Back.
I told you that he was going to win again. I told you he was going to win again. And you said, no, he's not. He's not going to win again. Then he came back and won the Masters. Then you said when he had the accident, you said Tiger was not going to be able to play golf again. I said, listen, man, he's a cyborg. He's going to come back. And I said it. And here he is. Tiger's back. Now, put some respect on his name. And Earl Woods while you at it.
Tiger's not back.
He is back.
Tiger's not back.
He's on the golf course.
Tiger said himself. He's on the golf course.
He's on the golf course with little Charlie.
He's not
with little Charlie. He's
not
little Charlie.
He just said this.
He's back with Charlie.
Well, yeah,
he's back out there with Charlie.
And it's good that he can hit a ball.
Grooming Charlie. He grooming Charlie because Charlie gonna be the next Woods. He gonna be the next Woods, and then they're gonna be playing father and son like LeBron and little Bronny. They're gonna be playing the father and son on the together doubles matches. They're gonna be truth, man. Okay. You ain't with it?
Okay.
You don't understand?
No, man. And I don't want anybody. Nobody should be creating expectations and whatnot about Tiger is blessed to still have legs and be able to walk. The fact that he can hit a golf ball is beautiful. Where you hear that? They were talking about the possibility of taking his leg off.
Listen, man, he and little Charlie are on the court.
That's fine,
and they're gonna be good. They're gonna be on the good. No. Listen, man. Listen.
It's not coming back.
He's going to play competitively. How much money you want to put on it? How much money you want to put on it?
Whatever you want. How much you got?
I got about $25.
Okay,
you want to put 25
on? Put it on table.
Right here on the table.
Let somebody hold it.
Yeah. Because I don't trust you. Because you be playing amnesia and stuff. And you be saying, mutual. I got Alzheimer's. Because I can't remember. I can't remember what I said. I said Tiger wasn't going to win. Did I say that? I got Alzheimer's. So,
all right. So we are out of time for this. I know y'all glad. I know you're glad because you need a break. But we're going to be back for more R&R on Sports right after this. Don't go anywhere. We got a lot to talk about.
This your boy Chris Brown.
David West of the Golden State Warriors.
Hey, this is Dr. J.
This is Shaq Adocious.
Yo, what's up? This is Ice Cube.
And you're listening to a little R&R
R&R on Sports.
Riffin' on jazz.
So all the artists today must be ladies.
Must be.
Oh, my favorite.
You got a problem?
No, that's my favorite.
See, I knew.
Riffin' on jazz on the Kazookian Network.
Boy, that boy Steph can so shoot that ball. That mother Scooter can shoot that ball from so far away. I tell you, you need binoculars to see that boy.
woo! I wrote a song about it. Wanna hear it? Well, you about to hear it. Here it go.
Shoot it long. Shoot it from a mighty long way. Yeah. Steph can shoot it long. He can shoot it from a mighty long way. Anywhere on the court, the popcorn stand, the women's restroom, they ought to give them shots more than just a trade.
Shoot that ball. Shoot it from the hallway. Well, Steph can shoot that ball, baby.
Sure can shoot that ball, boy.
He can shoot it all the way from the hallway. Shoot from anywhere you want. Just step on back and make them pay.
Oh, that boy Steph is bad, boy. Steph. Woo.
He free to shoot from wheresoever he want to shoot.
His daddy can shoot the ball.
Everybody, he couldn't shoot it like that.
His daddy can shoot the ball.
His daddy couldn't shoot the damn ball like that. I don't care what you say. His daddy couldn't shoot the ball like that. Don't nobody shoot that ball like this boy.
What's his daddy name?
Delvin.
No, what's his last name?
Curry.
He's Curry.
He's Curry.
So where do you think he got
But everybody,
from?
just cause his name Curry, you think he can shoot the damn ball any way he want to? Nah, this boy done recreated shooting as we know it.
No!
In the modern age.
No, his daddy shot the ball better.
I just want some good barbecue. I don't want none of that Indian food.
Who that got to some Indian
The curry.
food?
I don't want any of that curry. It's too spicy.
Put the curry on the barbecue.
It's too spicy.
That's what
that
you
boy
do.
bad though.
Put some curry on them ribs.
There's some curry on the ribs.
Curry set them ribs off.
They don't make no ribs in Carolina.
I did that in Carolina.
Carolina.
We in Tennessee, boy.
No, they mean Carolina though.
Carolina can't do nothing.
It's barbecue.
Not in Carolina.
You want some curry flavored barbecue?
I don't.
They put some mustard
Don't he have
on.
a little brother?
They put some mustard on.
What's his name?
I got some curry on my pizza.
Let's see.
Well, that's just gross.
I put some curry on my pizza.
There's Steph, and I believe he's got a sister named Idabelle, and it's another one.
Now, you know, I put some curry on Idabelle's toes. Idabelle got.
Wait a minute, boy.
Is that what's in
Wait
there?
a minute.
Is that what's in James Harden's pot?
Idabelle got sucking toes.
Yeah, that boy.
Blues in the basement.
Professor, you came up with this. I love this double dose. We're going to have the Dr. John in the double dose.
I don't care if you're young or old.
Blues in the basement.
Get together, let the good time roll.
Part of the Kazookian Network.
R&R on Sports on the Kazookian Network.
Back for more R&R on Sports. Back. So, so my wife works for the Chamber of Commerce. For those of you who don't know, in Memphis, Tennessee, and they had an event at the Grizzlies game, and it just happened to be the Grizzlies game between the Grizzlies and the Oklahoma City Thunder. And so, you know, we were up in the suite having a nice time, you know, socializing and eating and drinking and doing what you do in a suite and, you know, watching the game on occasion. So we would in the first half, watch the Grizzlies go up by, 10. And then they were up by halftime. They were up by 20, I believe. And, nothing unusual. Folk can come back from that.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometime during the third quarter, as I was engaged in conversation with somebody, I just happened to look over at the scoreboard, and some quick math revealed that if the Grizzlies scored
public school
another bucket, they were going to be up by 50.
Oh, man. Wow.
What?
Did you think it was
in the third
did you think it was
quarter?
a glitch?
Huh?
Did you think it was a glitch or some kind?
No, I didn't think it was a glitch. I'm going, and then I started watching because I'm going, how bad can OKC be?
Right.
I saw.
Well, OKC beat the Lakers twice.
Hey,
beat the Lakers twice this season.
But
so
they were horrible. They were throwing the ball away.
Yeah.
They couldn't hit a shot. And as I said to somebody in the suite, they thought it was kind of funny, but I was telling them the Grizzlies could have got a better game from St. Jude. The St. Jude All-Stars.
The little kids.
Yeah, the little kids would have worn out.
Well, listen, but let me ask you this, though. It seems as though that the Grizzlies are playing without Ja Morant because they played without Ja Morant against OKC, right?
And they're about six wins in a row.
Right. So what is it, man? The Grizzlies are playing better without their all-star point guard.
Well, I think it is. I think that people like Desmond Bain and Melton and other guys are really stepping up and using this time. I mean, there's no doubt, no question about who the star of the show is. I mean, Ja is Ja.
Right.
But these guys ain't no slouches. And I think in his absence, they are showing the world that, you know what, we got game. We got game. We truth. So it's a joy to watch and play. They get along very, very well. They got great chemistry together, which is something I love to see, and it's something another Memphis team has none of right now, and that's the Tigers.
Yeah,
they got tremendous talent.
Yeah,
they got youth and talent, but
no chemistry.
I understand there's this chasm between the veteran players and the young bloods.
And I can believe that because young bloods got so much love, and you see that now. And just as a quick segue, and
got so much love for who?
I mean, because we got so much love for these young players coming in, the Jalen
get
Duren,
so much love.
Yeah, and then the Imani Bates and all of that. And what's happening is these older teams, and in Memphis' case, they've got a division. But think about this the other day. Texas Southern beat Florida, University of Florida.
What happened with that?
Wait a minute. Let me tell you what's happening.
Okay.
A school like Texas Southern is going to have juniors and seniors.
They're going to keep
old
for
players.
4 years. Yeah.
But you get a school like Florida whose players looked really, really young. So when you think about it, you're going to have players that are schools with grown men in their team and playing against a lot of young boys at some of these big Power 5 schools.
So I didn't see it. What style of play did Texas Southern use to beat them? Were they fast breaking?
They were straight in the paint, post up.
Okay.
I mean,
they were grinding it out.
They were grinding it out on these kids.
They took full advantage of their possessions, and they
smart. The kid in the middle for Florida was about 150 pounds, soaking wet with bricks in his pocket. I mean, literally, he was really undernourished. And it seemed like he was just out of high school. But it's like with Chet Holmgren and the kids out at Gonzaga. You got a lot of young kids on that team, or young boys that's right out of high school. But when you're going against these older veteran teams, it's going to be hard, even on the collegiate level, because these young boys that are freshmen and sophomores are playing against grown men that are seniors, juniors, seniors, and in some cases, fifth-year seniors. Because with the issue of having an extra year, players are, the transfer portal, People are transferring schools. They still acquiring an extra year. So they're working on their masters. So, man, you literally having 5th year and 4-year juniors that are going against these young 17, 18, 19-year-olds. And I just think at that point that maturity hasn't flipped to the man stage.
Well, and where does that occur? Because in our environment now, with what happens now, there's got to be a transition to be a boys to men transition somewhere. Right. It's got to happen somewhere. So where does that typically happen? In the NBA?
I think it happens in the NBA.
In the NBA?
Yeah. I mean, look at Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, we didn't really see his body filling out and things like that until he was in the league about 4 or 5 years. I see that. You mean, look at Steph Curry's body. Look at Steph Curry's body. Steph Curry was like a malnourished kid, baby face and all. But now you look at him, he's got that old man, that man weight, that man muscle and things like that on him. So that maturity really starts to take advantage. Whereas in the NFL, you could hurt somebody. These kids being so young, playing against these grown men. Can you imagine going, one of these kids growing up against Harrison?
You got two kinds of maturity, though, Larry. You got physical maturity.
Mental
you
maturity.
also have mental and emotional and psychological maturity.
Absolutely.
And think about it like this: we've often talked about the whole AAU process and culture.
Right.
And so these kids come from being the man in AAU. Whole world, literally, whole team revolves around them.
Right.
Okay.
Well, that's what's happening with Ben Simmons.
They go to their high school. Same deal in high school. Whole team, whole world revolves around them. Then they go to college for a hot minute, and that may or may not happen in college. But then they go to the NBA. Let's say they get drafted and go to the NBA. It ain't happening in the NBA.
Ain't gonna happen.
Didn't happen with Kobe.
Right.
LeBron.
Yeah, but
because he was at Cleveland.
But LeBron was the truth from day one.
Yeah, but he was at Cleveland.
Yeah, that too. That too. Kobe came to a team with Shaq and
absolutely
Eddie Jones,
absolutely,
and a whole bunch of folks.
So you got to talk about maturity. You got to talk about not just physical maturity, but that whole emotion. And everybody doesn't make that transition well.
Right.
Everybody doesn't go over that hill smoothly.
Right. That's true. Very true. Well, listen, let me ask you a quick question before we go. And I know Golden State's your team. Is Steph Curry the best player in the NBA right now?
Yeah. Right now.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do.
All right.
I do. Most complete game, most in terms of his contribution to his team and the team's success as a result.
Well, we ain't going to say no more after that.
I mean,
listen.
Name somebody else.
I ain't going to name nobody. This is our own sports, and you're not. So we're going to be right back. Stay right there. We'll talk to you in a minute.
Blues in the basement.
Professor, you came up with this. I love this double dose. We're going to have the Dr. John in the double dose.
I don't care if you're young or old.
Blues in the basement.
Get together, let the good time roll.
Part of the Kazukian Network.
Welcome back to R&R on Sports. Don't do that. How come you got a best? It was a smooth re-intro.
But see, I wanted
you
people
always
to understand my falsetto, like Smokey Robinson.
Nobody wants to hear that.
Tears of a cloud. You know what I'm saying?
Come on in here, man. I need some help, man. I need you. We are thrilled to have with us today the creator of Samaritan's Feet. I'm talking about the one and only Emmanuel Manny Ohome. Welcome to R&R on Sports.
Man, thank you, my brothers. Thank you, Larry.
It would take a Samaritan to wash his feet, though, man, because your feet would need some special treatment. They don't even let you go to the pedicure spot.
Hey man, I got a lady who loves to see me come in.
She don't love to see you take off your socks.
Loves my feet.
She don't love you taking off those socks.
She makes love to my feet.
Oh Lord, now.
And that's all I'm gonna say about that. Manny, welcome, man. We were laughing before the show started, before we went on mic, but we are gonna start with your most intriguing and interesting story. Which began in Lagos, Nigeria.
That's right.
Is that correct?
That's correct, man. I was born in Nigeria. It's crazy. At the age of 9, my job used to be to help my mom go sell water and soft drinks at parks. You know, if you ever watch Discovery Channel, you see those kids that carry baskets on their head. That used to be me.
Right.
So your mama was the candy lady. Your mama, your grandmama was.
She was a street lady, man. She was the one selling soft drinks, Coca-Cola, Sprite, Fanta,
on the corners and stuff.
Water on the side of the road, man.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the candy lady, man. Every neighborhood got one of those.
No, it's not one. It's not one. It's not one. They line the streets. When you come to an intersection, I know in Ghana it's like this, and obviously it's like this in Nigeria too. When you come to an intersection, they are it's like stopping at the corner market.
Really?
You can get anything.
Are you serious?
Right am I serious, Manny?
You're serious, man. Everybody in Africa, man, we're entrepreneurs, man. Everybody's trying to sell something. You got to make a living, man.
That's right.
So tell us about home, Manny. Tell us about home life, family life. In the household, did you guys, a lot of siblings, or what was it like at home?
So I grew up in a family of I have 7 other siblings, 6 biological, 1 adopted. My father, his father passed away when he was a young cat. So his dad had about 2 wives and another lady that had a child for him. So when he passed away, he became the sole responsible leader for his entire clan, man. So he had to take care of them. And so with that comes the pressure of life, So he had his own 7 children plus another adopted son that came into his home, plus his siblings that he had to take care of. So our home life was tough. So you've got about 15 of us living in this 2-bedroom. My mom and dad had one, and the rest of us had one. We were all sleeping on the floors, man. I know how I was been to Africa. The first bed I slept on was in my college. It was unbelievable.
Wait a minute, you said the first bed you slept on was in college?
Was my college, yes, sir. And
wow,
it was amazing, man. You could have seen they put this 2, full-size bed together, man. They gave me because I was the African kid. They turned into a king. I laid out and I said, I've died, man.
Oh, I bet you it was a beautiful thing, brother. To sleep on the bed. So the first night you slept on the bed,
man.
Take us back there.
Man, it was something else, right? Because even just getting there was a chore. Because Larry, I learned one first lesson: when you get to America, you call ahead. That's the first lesson. See, in Africa, we just show up. You know what I'm saying? There's no advance notice. So I showed up. I landed in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and I remember calling my coach, and nobody was there, and I had to take a Greyhound bus to head over to my campus, and I showed up on campus. Nobody was there. Eventually, it got me all settled in. And when I got in, they got my room. I was this African kid. They have these 2 full-size beds. I put them together, man, became king, man. I said, I've died, come to heaven. This is how the people on the other side of the track live. It was unbelievable, man. It was one of the best experiences of my life. It was the first time I was actually in a room by myself. Because when you grow up in a home, we got 15 people.
Yeah, in 1 bedroom.
Come on, man.
Floor.
So that right there was a sanctuary. But besides that, after I finished that, you should have seen the first day I stepped into the cafeteria, and I saw all this food, man. Because I used to wake up and say, "God, give me 001." That means it's okay if I don't have breakfast or lunch. At least give me supper so I can make it to the next day. When you have a meal a day and you walk into an American cafeteria at a college. It's like, man, this is Christmas every day of the year, man. It was unbelievable because in my country, one of the things I never ate till I came here was apples because rich people ate apples in my neighborhood.
Wait a minute. Stop right there. Wait a minute. This is R&R Sports, and we're speaking to Manny Ahome, Executive Director, CEO, and founder of Samaritan's Feet. So wait a minute. The first time you ate an apple was in the United States?
In the United States. And wealthy people eat apple where I grew up in. I mean, it's not something when your parents live on less than $1 a day, apple is what the rich people eat. So when I walked into my cafeteria and I saw this apple, Larry and Howard, man, I started eating like apple was going to go out of style. I still remember the cafeteria worker calling me, man, and said, man, you're going to kill yourself. You're going to have diarrhea, man. You keep eating apple like this.
You're going to hurt yourself. Oh, my goodness. Here's what I want to know. You were at South Dakota State, right?
No, actually, I started at University of North Dakota. That's where I went to.
North Dakota.
Yeah, North Dakota.
How did University of North Dakota find out about you? More importantly, how did you find out about them?
Man, that's $100 million question, man, because you got to realize during my junior year in high school, I grew up in Lagos. I've always believed that my dream was one day to go play basketball in America. And I still remember going to my coach. And this coach was the same guy that coached Akeem Olajuwon. So
tell folks how tall you are.
I'm only about 6'4". I mean, so the coach looked at me and said, Manny, you're not big enough, you're not fast enough, you're not good enough. He was one of the greatest encouragers I've ever met. You know? he said, what makes you think they're going to give you a scholarship in America? I said, I don't know, coach, but I'm willing to try. He said, I got to give you got some balls to approach me. Right. And he said, here's what I'm going to do for you. He said, I'm going to give you some names of schools for you to write letters to. And I doubt if anybody's going to respond to you. But if anyone does, he said, I'll write your letter of reference. So I said, man, that's all I need. I just need a shot.
Right. Right.
So I sent the letters, and he probably actually never wrote that letter of reference for me, but I didn't need that later on. It was so crazy. Right. And I ended up getting interest from 5 different schools in America.
Really?
Well, I didn't know much about this country. I've heard about New York. I've heard about Los Angeles. And I've heard about Houston, Texas. I heard just about every Nigerian in the world, man, they all live in Houston.
Right,
right. Houston may be a good place. So those weren't the places where I got a scholarship from. Okay. So I said, well, here's what any smart Nigerian person will do, man. Let me put all the brochures on the table of my house, and I'm going to pick the best looking one. Because I think, that's got to be one of the greatest indicators to be able to pick. Because if it's good looking, man, it's got to be real good. I didn't realize.
Wait a minute. The graphic designer is basically who
I think they hired the best agency in the world, man. They took that picture the only one day in the summer, man. They tricked me. They tricked me, Howard. I picked that school, and I remember showing up in North Dakota. I said, I've done something wrong to God, man. People should not live in North Dakota, man.
What month did you end up in North Dakota?
I got here. I was late. This is another part of the story. I got there right around October.
It's starting to get crazy.
Because you got to realize I got the scholarship letter right around February or so.
Right.
And I had to raise $700 to buy the plane ticket. Right. And $700 to my mom and dad was like $7 million.
Right.
Wow.
And we didn't have the money. We borrowed, we sold. My dad didn't want me to come. My mom did everything that was possible.
Right.
But man, we couldn't come up with $700. So March came, April came, May came, June came, July came. The coach thought I wasn't coming anymore.
Right.
So August came, September came. Finally, one of my uncles was able to connect with us. That was the military guy, and we were able to get some resources. And I still remember buying a plane ticket, one-way ticket on Alitalia, flying me all the way from Lagos through Rome to Nigeria. True story, Howard. I was on the plane and everybody was eating all this amazing food, but I never flew before. I thought everybody had to pay for this food, man. So I didn't eat. So I flew all the way from Lagos through Rome to Chicago or here. And I was so embarrassed to ask anybody that, man, I don't have that money because I only had $300 in traveler's check that was supposed to, I thought was going to last me for 2 years. And I remember,
wait a minute, they didn't just give you food? They didn't just give you a plate?
That's what they do, but I didn't know. I thought they paid for the food on the plane. It was so crazy, man. I didn't even want to ask. I got on there. I saw everybody eating. I fell asleep. I said, man, I got to make sure this money lasts me a little longer.
Oh, wow.
My goodness.
And I learned some very, very tough lessons. One of the first lessons is if you don't know, you ask.
Ask somebody. You better ask somebody.
Yeah, that's what they say.
So I got to Chicago. And I thought I was there. Man, I've been flying for 2 days. I finally got there, and I remember there was an airline that was still in business then called Northwest Airline.
Yes, sir.
And I remember
headquartered where we are.
Yes, sir. So I remember asking the gate attendant. He said, "Where you going, son?" I said, "I'm going to North Dakota." I said, "Son, you got another flight." I said, "Well, you mean I've been traveling for 2 days, man? How far is this country, man?"
The country of North Dakota.
He was crazy. He said, "Man," she said to me, "Man, you got to buy another ticket." I said, "What do you mean another ticket?" She said, "You got 2 ways to get to North Dakota. You either buy another plane ticket, which is going to cost you about $180, or you take Greyhound." But I said, "I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not gonna put my enemy on Greyhound. I said, I ain't taking that one. Whatever that one is, I'm not taking it." and she said, "I gotta buy this ticket, man, Larry. It was $180.
Of your 300
like parents' income for almost a couple years."
Right.
I said, "There's no way we can afford to buy this ticket." So I'm like, my stomach was sick. He just said, "Son, this is the only chance you got to get there." So I finally bought it. I still remember flying on that plane. My stomach was so upset because
hold on, Manny. We got to take a break for a second. We're gonna come right back. But listen, when we come back, we're gonna talk about Manny. He's gonna finish the story, but we also gonna talk about how he got a college coach to coach a game barefooted.
Come on.
So listen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on R&R on Sports with Samaritan's Feet founder, Manny A. Holman.
I love games, board games, comics, beautiful things that portray black girls as soft and whimsical and cotton candy flowers. And so that is what I bring to the show, as well as cuss words for these raggedy when they need them.
Oh my
Such
goodness.
as this raggedy that we getting ready to introduce you to right now.
Oh my
This red
goodness.
fox looking,
Oh.
this bald head, confident talking about Richard Douglas Jones.
My goodness, this is the worst intro I've ever had in my life, ladies and gentlemen. Black Nerd Power on the Kadzukian Network.
Welcome back to R&R on Sports. Manny, we're doing a Coming to America story. Yeah.
If they watch them,
Manny or Home. So we've got him to North Carolina.
We got him to
North Dakota.
We got him to Chicago.
Chicago.
No. Then he's going to.
He took a flight to Grand Forks, North Dakota.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So you're at college. You done push the beds together. You get to sleep in the bed for the first time. Talk about just getting acclimated to being 1,000,009 miles from home. This was your first time in America, right?
Yes, this is my first time in America. This is my first time out of my country.
Out of your country. Were
It
the folks walking around looking at, because it ain't a whole lot of us in North Dakota, in case you hadn't noticed.
No, sir.
So,
no, sir.
Looking like you had just gotten off of the spaceship?
It was crazy. So I took the Greyhound bus. Actually, I finally got on a Greyhound bus from Grand Forks to my school, and I got there, and they told me it was about 2-point-some miles to my campus.
Okay.
And I'm like, I don't know what 2-point-some miles. I deal in kilometers. So I said, man, that can't be 2 kilometers. Can't be that far. So I started walking. Now you got to realize this was a cold day. I'm wearing a linen suit during winter. I had no winter jacket.
You wearing linen in the winter in North Dakota.
In North Dakota. So you got to put it in perspective. I didn't know where I was going. And so I'm wearing a linen suit. And I got 2 bags. I had hardly anything in there, but I got to look like I'm traveling somewhere.
Right. Look like you're going to college.
Come on, man. So I'm walking to my campus, and this orange car pulled right next to me. And I'm looking like who this person is. And it said, "Are you Emmanuel?" And I just about flipped out. Because I've never been to North Dakota before. How in the world this person know my name?
Yeah, right.
There was a family in this car. There were the Mosier family. I found out later on that the May, right before I came, there was an article written in the paper saying that I was coming as one of their newest recruits. So when I showed up, I didn't come, so nobody thought I was coming. But when they realized I'm the only brother working on this road, this got to be Manny, because there ain't no other brother that's walking around here.
Right.
And they said, "Are you Emmanuel?" I said, "Yes." And I'm freaking out. And he said, "Well, we knew you were coming, but we didn't know you were going to be coming anymore. Is it okay if I give you a ride?" Now he's coming from church with his family members. So they took me to campus. And I got to my campus and realized nobody was there over the weekend. I went back to their home. They fed me, and that was another story in itself. It was pretty crazy because, it was like they were having Thanksgiving on Sunday. And for a kid that never seen that much food in his life, man, it was unbelievable. And so that was pretty cool. It was winter. The first room they gave me, guys, was actually overlooking the parking lot, and they had this stuff called snow. And I didn't want to see it.
That you don't have in Nigeria.
Every time I saw that stuff, my knee would buckle me. I was so cold. I was shivering for 2 months. 2 months. I didn't go outside for 2 months.
Really?
I'm telling you, I had to tell them to change my room. That I didn't want a room with a window because I didn't want to be looking at that snow because I just wasn't acclimated to it. So there was a storage room. It was like a quasi boiler in the middle of my dormitory. I told them that's what I want to use as my bedroom. And they said, "Man, I don't think that." True story. I'm not joking. I said, "I don't want a window. I want a room that actually is warm." They said, "Man," as they walked me around, I said, "This is the room. It's in the middle of my dormitory." And I remember, true story, Howard, I cranked my heat up. It was about 85 degrees. my coach walked in to come welcome me, man. He ran outside. I said, "Man, you're going to kill yourself. Our love is just like Africa, man. Leave me alone."
Well, listen, this is Iron on Sports, and we're speaking with Manny Ahome of Samaritan's Feet. Manny, I want to know, when you made the transition from Nigeria to the United States, did you speak the language?
Yes, I spoke English.
Okay. So what was it like being a black man in North Dakota?
It was different. Right off the bat, man. Everybody was looking. I mean, actually, I wrote a book called Soul Purpose, right? So I think I wrote about this in my book. There was this kid that came to all my game the first couple of years. And the first year he came, and I knew this kid was dying to ask me a question. Right.
Okay.
And so the first season went through, he couldn't get to me. And then the second season, because I transferred after my sophomore year to another school in Minnesota called Concordia. And I remember towards the last game of the season, he finally got a chance to reach me. I said, "You look like you've been trying to ask me a question, man, the last couple of seasons. What are you going to ask me?" And he was, apprehensive. I said, "No, go ahead and ask the question." And he looked at me and he said, "What does it feel like for you to wear clothes?" I said,
"Oh, wow. Oh, wow."
He said, and you know me, man, and I took it to a whole different level. I said, "Man, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me, man. You should have seen me in my kingdom. I got this spit gun, man. I used to go after lions and tigers and all. I was making up a bunch of stories. This kid his eyes got this big."
Really?
Right.
Oh, that's wrong, Manny. So wrong.
But he didn't know. He did not know, right? But part of me being there was also to create cultural sensitivity for them to realize, because everybody has this notion of Africa. But because I was able to actually help educate and build bonds with them, get them to realize, man, Africa is no different than any other country. It's got its poor side, it's got its rich side. Yeah, I came from a poor background, but there's also people that live in parts of Nigeria that's like Memphis, Tennessee.
Exactly. Right. I know exactly what you mean. I was in Utah once, and there was this guy that grew up in a strict Mormon household and whatnot, and hadn't been exposed. And he told me one time after we came to know each other, I was working at a television station there. He told me that he was taught that we had tails.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
That's what he said. And so anyway, interesting. So we're gonna segue because we gotta give him time.
Well, we gotta talk about
Samaritan's feet.
Absolutely. I want to know. I gotta get to the part about him getting a coach to coach barefooted in a college game. So tell us about Samaritan feet, and then tell me how in the world did you convince a college coach to coach barefooted, man?
Well,
coach barefoot.
Yeah, coach in a college game.
Man, I tell you what, my father struggled a little bit with alcohol, like I think growing up, and when you have people that struggle with those kind of things, the ones that are closest to them the most are the ones that hurt the most. Right. And I'm so grateful for my mom because after my father passed away from cirrhosis of the liver and struggled, and I remember going back to Africa to go bury my dad, and I've been gone from Nigeria now for a number of years. I forgot how poor we really were. That when I went back home, I couldn't even use the bathroom in my own house. I had to go across the street to the park where I used to go sell soft drinks and water. And I remember coming out of that park and that bathroom at that park, and I looked across the horizon. I saw many of those children with no shoes, and my heart sunk. And I said, man, what if I can start coming to help children just like this? Because you got to realize when I was 9 years old, when I was selling water at that park, a missionary was there to come teach us how to play basketball.
Right.
And I entered into this competition, the shooting competition. The prize for the winner was a new pair of shoes. That I became the first person, not just in my family, but my entire community, to own a pair of tennis shoes. That changed my life. So I said, man, what if I can start coming to help kids just like this and also inspire them that they can dream big dreams?
Right.
And eventually I learned that over 300 million kids in Africa wake up each day with no shoes on their feet. I learned
that. Say that. Wait. Say that.
300 million in Africa wake up every day with no shoes on their feet.
Wow.
I learned later on that 1.5 billion with a B, according to the World Health Organization, were infected with soil-transmitted parasites and disease that come in through the feet because they have no shoes. And I said, somebody ought to do something about it. And it took me about 5 years. I came back, my wife and I, after about 5 years, coming back from burying my father, coming back to America, we started this organization called Samaritan's Feet, with a vision to go put shoes in the feet of 10 million children around the world. And we said, we're just not going to give them shoes, but we're actually going to humble ourselves and wash the feet of every single one of these recipients. And we're going to ask them what's the worst that's ever happened to them and what's their dream. And we use this as a platform to activate hope in their life and remind them they can also accomplish and dream big dreams.
Wait a minute. Say that again, Manny. You actually wash the kids' feet?
Yes, we do. We wash their feet.
Before you give them a new pair of shoes.
We give them a new pair of shoes. If they have wounds, we bandage their wounds. We wash their feet. And then we inspire them to go dream big dream. Because we knew education was going to be the key to help unlock the possibility. Because without shoes in many parts of the world, kids can't go to school. Right. In this country, shoes part of the school uniform. So kids that grew up in Title I schools across the United States, without the proper footwear, they can't go to school. They can't play sports. So part of our mission is to inspire hope through the gift of shoes. But before we give them that shoe, we want to be able to make a connection that they'll never forget the rest of their lives. And we've had coaches, professional athletes, presidents of countries, leaders of corporations humble themselves to wash the feet of these kids and speak into this kid's life and remind them that they are our future and they can help make this world much better than they found it.
Beautiful.
That is a beautiful thing.
That is beautiful. I want to mention something to you, and perhaps you have a relationship with them already, but if you don't, you need to. There's a company called Service Master. And Service Master's headquarters is in Illinois, outside of Chicago. And they have a statue outside of their corporate headquarters, and it is a statue of Jesus washing the disciples' feet. and it is their model for service, which is why there's companies called Service Master. So perhaps that could be a corporate, somebody that you could have a corporate relationship with.
Absolutely. I appreciate that.
Sure.
Definitely.
Sure.
We will follow up with them on that, but it's pretty cool. So that's the way it started for us. And since we started in 2003, eventually I moved to Charlotte. That's where we started. We headquartered right here in Charlotte. And since we started to serve 10 million, we've now served about 8.6 million kids.
That is beautiful.
Over 100 countries, over 44 U.S. states, now close to about 460 U.S. cities. And the reason why we wash feet is now part of a global, wash model that we've actually launched, because UNICEF and some of these organizations said that one of the ways in which you can prevent diseases, besides us following the examples of the greatest role model who ever lived, was if you wash your hands and wash your feet, you can actually help eradicate some of those dirty and bacteria and parasites that can come into your body. But because we've actually now included as part of that model a pair of shoes, which we actually just invented and created a world shoe, the first of its kind in the world, has an antimicrobial property. It's a nanosilver that repels bacteria, repels parasites. So when you wear it, it serves as a prophylactic to prevent diseases for kids. And this shoe is actually eco-friendly, so it's also biodegradable. It's made here in the United States. And part of our vision now that we're going to serve 10 million by next year, is now how do we lead a vision and a mission to create a world with zero shoeless children? So part of what we're trying to do now, reason why I was in Ghana, was to look at what's the possibility to establish micro manufacturing facility in parts of Africa, places like in Ghana or Rwanda or South Africa or in India, even part of Latin America, places like Guatemala or Nicaragua, so we can actually not just provide aid, but development, so we can create jobs. So that's where Samaritan is going. And when we were doing this, Larry, you asked me, why, how do you get a coach to coach a game with no shoes?
Right.
We knew these coaches, you wearing this $2,000-$3,000 suits with some of the best looking shoes on the sidelines. We knew we needed somebody to be able to use their platform to be able to help us engage the audience. So I was actually in New York after I met Maya Angelou, after she inspired me to think about being courageous. And she said, I need to be the face and the voice for children. So I called this young coach out of Indianapolis called Ron Hunter. He was a head basketball coach there at IUPR. And we said, Coach, would you not just help us coach a game with no shoes, but in honor of the death of Dr. Martin Luther King in 2008, would you help us raise 40,000 pairs of shoes? And he first thought I was crazy. And then eventually said, okay, I'm going to help you. And by game time that day, Coach Hunter was just about every ESPN show, every major TV program. We've raised about 110,000 pairs of shoes. ABC News ended up making it Person of the Week. It was unbelievable. By the end of that year, we raised about 200 and something thousand shoes that they made him Person of the Year. And the NCAA invited me to come to the Final Four in San Antonio to present him an award. That's when I met Ernie Johnson on the NBA on TNT. And he connected me with the president of Turner. He had me on NBA on TNT on Mother's Day. Him, Charles Barkley, Kenneth Smith, they all went barefoot. We ended up connecting with a company that was working with Al Arrington and Steven Jackson through their protege shoe. Came and ended up doing about 1.3 million pairs of shoes to us to help us kick off what we're doing. So since then, we've teamed up with people like Skechers. We've teamed up people like Nike. We've teamed up with a whole bunch of people that we've now served over 8 million people all over the world.
That is excellent. That is excellent. We've got to have you back so we can keep and let our listeners keep up with your progress, the progress of Samaritan's Feet. But please tell us and our listeners what we can do and how we can help Samaritan's Feet.
Man, you can go to SamaritansFeet.org today for as little as $25. You can put a pair of shoes on a child anywhere in the world. You can go on a mission trip with us to go serve and put shoes on kids' feet overseas or around the corner. You can sponsor a shoe distribution in your neighborhood. You can help us do shoe drives in your community. You can learn all about that at Samaritan. You can help us write book notes. You can engage your corporation. You can engage your church. You can engage your foundation. You can help us count to zero and ensure that no child in our lifetime will ever have to die or lose their feet or can't go to school because they have no shoes.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Manny.
Oh, homie.
My homie.
My homie. Homie don't play that.
Thank you, man. We appreciate you being here with us on R&R on Sports, and we absolutely going to have you back.
Oh, man, absolutely. We got to talk some hoop, man. We got to talk some hoop.
And if this shoe stuff don't ever work out, you can do stand-up, brother. You a funny man. And all you got to do is tell what my grandma used to say, what the Lord loves. That's the truth.
The truth.
Yeah.
The truth.
Yeah, tell them your story. Appreciate you being with us, man. We'll be back for more on our own sports.
I appreciate it, man. Blessings.
Humans Being with Kirk Whalum.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, now I'm going to say my friend, Jonathan Capehart.
You came up and tapped me on my shoulder and you said, I'm a big fan. My name's Kirk Whalum. And I just about jumped out of my skin because I was like, wait, Kirk Whalum is saying hi to me? He's a fan of mine? Get out of here.
Humans Being with Kirk Whalum.
Glad you stayed with us.
Now we out.
We got to go. But before we do, we always like to pay tribute and homage to great athletes.
Is it homage, or is it homage?
It's not homage.
It's not homage?
Homage.
It's homage.
Homage.
So it's a silent H.
Yes.
Oh,
homage.
Okay. I got you.
Pay homage to great players. And today it is someone that we know a lot about.
Yep. Was on the show.
From Memphis, Tennessee. He was on the show.
He was on the show.
The great Claude Humphrey, who passed away, I believe, last week. And he was a Hall of Famer from the alignment from the Atlanta Falcons, and originally from Memphis, Tennessee.
Didn't he play for Philadelphia as well? Or was it just Atlanta?
I have to look. Maybe Philly too.
Okay.
But the longest for the Falcons.
Atlanta. Yeah.
And hey, another great one gone. We want to pay particular respect and
absolutely.
Our sympathies to his family and memories of a great man with a great career.
All right, I got another shout out, and that's to my man, my dude, Tiger Eldridge Wood.
All right.
Because he coming back. He's coming back.
You started to
win.
show
He's
out
gonna
there.
win.
Yeah.
He's gonna win again. And you just gotta realize that it's greatness. It's
Don't
greatness.
do that,
Him
man.
and Charlie.
Don't
Him and
do
Charlie
that.
gonna play this weekend.
Okay.
And then in a couple weeks, Tiger gonna come back. And then when it come around to
Couple
May,
of weeks, he coming back.
He coming back, and then in a couple weeks in
so
May, when he get to May, he's gonna be wearing another green jacket. He's gonna be wearing another green jacket. Yeah. Now, what you got to say about that? Cut his mic off. Cut it.
I say you tripping as usual, but hey, it's not that I don't. Well, I wish for that. I pray for that. But I don't want anybody.
Listen, this is R&R on Sports, and we thank you. We love you, and we appreciate you being with us during this time.
You trying to cut me off? We got to get out of here. We appreciate you being with us here on R&R on Sports. Hope you will join us again next week. And until then, I am Howard.
And I am the fantastic one, Larry Robinson.
Y'all take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and be back with us.
Ciao, baby.
You've been listening to a little R&R on Sports, written and produced by Howard Robertson, Larry Robinson, recorded and mixed in Memphis, Tennessee.